Do you understand? At 22, you have all these cases? Life is hard enough as a young black man in today's society as it is. And now with all this, really? You want a pat on the back for all this? Well, good morning, Mr. Jackson. So, Amy, we spoke about this last week. I denied him a bond last week. Has anything changed?
No, it's the last thing I want.
Tell me, I don't even remember. What does he want it for?
He's wanted from Broomfield County, Colorado for failure to appear for burglary. It was issued in October of 2023. He's also here in Harris County for evading vehicles. He also has other criminal history that we can go into, but it would need to be offline sharing with more people.
Okay, I remember that. Okay.
Judge, yes. First, criminal history. I don't know how much we should go into that. We are here.
Go into anything that's
Just simply
go
like,
into.
it's not something I want to go into anyways. I don't think it's relevant to whether or not he's going to turn himself into Colorado or not. I think if we focus on that, the argument is that he would like an opportunity to go turn himself into Colorado for this pending case. He hasn't been found guilty out there. He's presumed innocent. He would like the opportunity to go turn himself in. He hasn't messed up in your court before. He hasn't been given that opportunity before. And he is not asking for a PR bond. He's asking for a bond sufficient enough to guarantee that he will go turn himself in over there. He has family members here in court today showing their support for him. He's got 3 family members. After talking with them, they are inclined to help him make a bond as well. They understand the risks. He understands the risks if he doesn't turn himself in over there. He understands the complications of having to meet his court date deadlines. And so we are just asking for you to consider giving him a sufficient bond to go turn himself in.
Who's here? Mom?
Judge, we have his sister, we have Santa, please. We have his sister-in-law, his girlfriend, and his cousin. Sister-in-law, and girlfriend.
Thank you for coming. God, really, I appreciate you coming. You're welcome to come up if you want.
And these are the family members that would be responsible for helping him post the bond. They would be posting the bond for him, and they understand the risks involved.
Sure. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. You know, and I told this to Mr. Jackson about a week and a half ago. There are several things that I look at when I give someone a bond. One of the things I look at is their prior criminal history, what they have done, how old they are, and whether they've left a wake of just destruction in their path. Mr. Jackson is very young, right? He's what, 20, 22? And in the short time that he's been alive, he's managed to rack up a ton of cases. Just here in Harris County, an evading that was dismissed in 2021. He picked up a felony theft in 24, an evading arrest in 24. He has a fugitive case out of another jurisdiction in another state, and now he picked up here 2 weeks ago another evading arrest. So the common theme that we have here is I'm going to take off and I'm going to try to evade. That's the common theme that we have. And the 2 things that I don't want are, number 1, I don't want him to pick up another case. And most importantly, I don't want my public to be in danger. These are the things that I consider. What does he want it for out of state?
Failure to appear for burglary.
And now he has another burglary in another state for failure to appear for that. At what point do we say when? So my point is that the problem is that if I give him a bond and he just takes off, all you guys are going to lose out on all that money. And what happens if he picks up another charge? So these are the things that I consider, and this is why I denied him a bond the first time. It's because the common thing that we have here is that in the short time that he's been an adult, there's a ton of evading and flight cases. That's why I didn't want to give him a bond. Because, in my opinion, he already has 3 flight cases. Do we need a 4th? That's what scares me. Carter.
Judge, considering all that, considering his family's here, we would be asking for an amount that ensures his attendance in Colorado. I think by putting an amount on his case, it would ensure that he hasn't had this opportunity before. He hasn't had a risk of losing money before. This risk would ensure that he does what's right and turns himself in over there.
But he has, though. You know, he has. He got out in Colorado, failed to appear on that. He's constantly trying to evade, you know, here as well. It's a constant thing. And I can't continue to say, okay, it's okay for you to do this. La, da, 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 da. It's not okay. The bill comes due. Do you understand? At 22, you have all these cases? Life is hard enough as a young black man in today's society as it is. And now with all this, really? You want a pat on the back for all this? You want me to just, no. Now the bill comes due.
Judge, if I may, respectfully, one of the things that I wanted to do was look into the Colorado system to see if it was actually a failure to appear or if this was a sort of like a 2B warrant here in Texas. I wasn't able to log into that system over there, and I don't think we can make the distinction on whether or not it was a 2B warrant based on the documents that have been filed, or if this is one of those situations where he missed a court date.
Regardless,
Okay.
all we have are someone constantly trying to evade capture. They're trying to evade police one way or the other. I have a feeling if I let him out, the same thing's going to happen, you know? And I don't want that to happen. I don't want you to pick up a fourth case, fifth case. I certainly don't want anyone to be injured. And that's it. At 22, all this baggage, it's not going to happen, man. The bill comes due. I certainly appreciate you guys coming. I know that you've taken a lot out to be here today. It's just too much baggage. I'm sorry. Okay? Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you for your consideration.
Of course. Tony.
Clarissa Leon.
Allison Iwoma, come up, man. Good morning, Mr. Osborne.
Hey, how you doing?
What's new?
Sorry?
What's new?
Oh,
Here we go.
just, the same old is new.
I feel you. I feel your pain. You are Miss Owuma.
Sir.
Ma'am, you were charged with driving while intoxicated. Second offense. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Yes, Judge. On February 25th, officer dispatched to a minor crash with a disturbance at the 1000 block Upland Drive in Harris County, Texas. The officers made contact with two witnesses. The second witness stated she was driving her Lexus north on Upland Drive when the defendant, the sole occupant of the vehicle, was driving her black Camry south in the northbound lane. The witness stated she slowed down, honked to alert the defendant, and crashed into her car in front of him while going north. The first witness stated he was in the southbound lane and was stopped, waiting to enter the service road, and the defendant, driving her Camry, struck the Lexus, and after the two motor vehicles crashed, the defendant swerved right and then ran into the back of the Chevy Blazer the first witness was driving. The first witness stated the defendant appeared to be looking down like she was slumped over, and the first witness approached the motor vehicle, and the defendant appeared drunk. The defendant tried to drive off, and the first witness was telling her to stop and wait. The second witness corroborated the first witness' statement and stated she could smell a strong odor of alcoholic beverage and that the defendant was drunk. The officer made contact with the defendant, and the defendant stated she was driving her car, had left home, and was on the way to the hospital for her ulcers. The defendant stated she was on the right lane going south, and a lady in an SUV was going north in her lane. The defendant stated she swerved over and hit another car. She tried to exchange information and get off the roadway, but was not trying to leave the scene and only wanted to move the cars into the parking lot on the west side of the road. The officer observed a moderate odor of alcoholic beverage, glossy eyes, slurred speech, and swaying. The defendant was within normal parameters regarding her vital signs per Houston Fire Department, and standard field sobriety were then conducted. HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 5 out of 8, one leg stand 3 out of 4. The defendant was read the DIC and consented to blood.
All right. So we have a DWI here. Any more DWIs anywhere else? If you run her and say, see, please.
She only had a previous out of 2022 here in Court 5, but that's the only one, Ron.
Does she have a valid Texas driver's license?
It's not eligible to drive.
It's not eligible to drive. I want to make something perfectly clear to you, Miss Woman. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to drive any vehicle whatsoever for any reason unless you have a valid Texas driver's license and liability insurance. I'm also placing a restriction on your license that you're not to drive any vehicle that's not equipped with an ignition interlock. I'm sending notice to DPS in Austin so that every single police officer knows if you're caught driving a vehicle and it doesn't have an interlock in it, they will arrest you and put you in jail. Do you understand? And then I'm going to revoke this bond here as well. You will be signing an affidavit with me. Counsel, did you want to add something?
Management law that's incorrect. The cop did not say moderate, he said mild. Sure.
Yeah, Judge, a minor automobile accident and a mild odor of alcohol is not any kind of probable cause for intoxication. I believe what happened was the police officer noted she had a prior conviction and then jumped to conclusions and ran everything backward from there.
Well, we have witnesses who say that she's possibly intoxicated. They do field sobriety tests. The field sobriety tests indicate that she's intoxicated or potentially intoxicated, so that's when they do the blood test. This isn't just a mere probable cause hearing. We have someone who's got indicia of intoxication, slurred speech, odor of alcohol, crashes into 2 different cars, fails 3 different field sobriety tests. You've got 2 other witnesses that say that she's possibly intoxicated, who they're on the scene and see it. There's more than enough to go forward for probable cause purposes. Beyond a reasonable doubt, I don't know. That's why we wait for the evidence to come in. But I think that there's certainly sufficient probable cause to go forward. They say you don't have a license, so you may not drive at all for any reason. I don't care what your justification is. I don't care if Bambi has to go to the hospital, you need to save 30 kittens, a kid needs to go to the... You cannot justify getting into a car for any reason. Do you understand? This is an affidavit that you're going to be signing today, promising me you're not going to drive. And if I find that you do, I can have a contempt hearing. You can be facing an additional 6 months of jail and a $500 fine every time you drive because it's an offense in and of itself. Do you understand? Because you don't have a license, because we're ordering you not to drive, I am now ordering you to obtain a portable breath test device that you're going to take with you everywhere you go to prove to us that you're not consuming alcohol. You're not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, unprescribed controlled medication, and we will randomly test you as well. Now, good job on having a lawyer. Because you have one, I will waive your appearance, but it is your responsibility to stay in touch with it. If they tell me they can't get a hold of you because you're playing games and you're dodging phone calls, whatnot, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. All I'm trying to do is protect my city at all costs, and I will do it however I can. Do you understand? If that means putting you in jail because you become a public danger, I'm going to do it in a heartbeat. So for now, what I'm going to have you do is I will have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive. Then I will get you to Victoria, where we'll have you sign a reset. You will get with Felicia for your bond conditions, and after that, you guys are free to go. All right?
Thank you,
Okay,
Judge.
guys. Thank you, sir. She's an interpreter?
No, Your Honor.
You can have a seat where you guys can actually see everything.
So no priors? Roger?
That's my knowledge, Your Honor.
And
So what's the job?
you can call you ready?
I have thought to,
533
Yes, sir.
02. And then I guess before we leave, if you can run an NCIC to see you together.
I thought that, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Salgado,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am, you are charged with assault of a family member. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, ma'am. Okay.
Yes, sir. The complainant and the defendant are mother and daughter, and the officer dispatched to a residence in Harris County, Texas, in response to a family disturbance. The complainant told the officers that she arrived home to find the defendant packing her things. The complainant began discussing the defendant's life choices, which led to an argument. The complainant tried to get the defendant to stay at the home, but the defendant grabbed the complainant by the shoulder and shoved her against the wall, causing pain.
Ma'am, I'm going to find that there's enough probable cause to go forward with your case. Do you guys have the rip done?
There is a rip done, Your Honor.
Does mom want contact with her?
My understanding, she's okay with contact.
She wants to contact her on it.
Is she here now?
No, she lives in a separate home. Since that incident, she's moved.
So I want you to understand something, Ms. Salgado. I'm now entering what's called the Magistrate's Order for Emergency Protection. This is a court order that identifies Ms. Gonzalez as a protected individual. You cannot commit family violence or an assault against this person. Commit an act in furtherance of an offense under section 42.072 of the Texas Penal Code, which is the stalking statute. You cannot threaten, harass, use another person to communicate a threat or harassing behavior. You cannot be in possession of a weapon. Do you understand? If you violate this court order, the state can and probably will file a violation of protective order, and that is one of the worst misdemeanor cases that you can think of. So just be nice. If you butt heads constantly, find another way. Go outside, do something else. But if you guys get into it again and there are threats made, you might end up back in jail. You understand? So this usually comes with a residential restriction that you cannot go back to the house. I will take this off. I am ordering you not to have any threatening or harassing contact with her. What is threatening or harassing doesn't matter what you think, it's what she perceives. So conduct in and of itself can violate this. You understand?
You speak out. Okay. I understand.
Do you mind filing with threatening or harassing?
Yes, Judge.
Please. So, bond.
Judge, we are asking for $100 pretrial bond. She has no history. Once she found out about the case, she hired us. We're here presenting ourselves and availing ourselves in the court's jurisdiction. I don't think she's a flight risk or a threat to the community.
Response?
And just there is no criminal history, and
Okay.
given the complainant stated to us, we would be opposed.
Okay, so I'm with you. I'll set bond at $100.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And then I'm going to grant you a PR bond. That means that I'm giving you a free bond today. But understand that I'm going to protect my community at all costs. If I find that you become a danger to my community, I will revoke that PR bond, issue a warrant, and put you in jail. No more. You will not get any more. Do you understand? Now, because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance. It is your responsibility to stay in touch with them, and they will tell you if and when you have to come back to court. Okay? All right, so I'll have you sign a reset with Victoria. We'll have you get with Felicia for your conditions, and then you're free to go. Okay?
Judge, may we be excused from class?
So, PR bond $100.
All right, Judge, we have no ranges.
Good morning, Mr. Garrett. Sir, you're charged with terroristic threat of a family or a household member. That allegation kicks it up to a Class A misdemeanor, so you are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On February 25th, 2025, the officer was dispatched to a residence in Harris County, Texas for a disturbance with an unknown weapon at approximately 5:49 p.m. And upon arrival, the officers met with the complainant, who stated she is the mother of the defendant and they live together. The complainant stated that day her healthcare provider came to her residence to help her as she is disabled. And the complainant stated the defendant was in his room playing loud music, and the complainant asked the defendant to turn it down while her provider was there. The defendant did turn it down, and as soon as her provider left, he turned the music back up. The complainant requested the defendant turn the music down again, and a verbal altercation ensued over the music and money, and the defendant started to revoke family photos. The complainant tried to stop the defendant, but the defendant grabbed the complainant by her arms and pinned her against the wall. The complainant stated she did not feel pain, but the defendant said to the complainant that if she continued to touch him, that the defendant would break the complainant's jaw. The defendant was on the scene and refused to speak to officers.
Okay. Mr. Garrett, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with your case. Do we know what mom wants?
See if a work was attempted, Your Honor, and unsuccessful.
We have a call scheduled later this afternoon. It won't be available until afternoon.
This is a problem. I normally order in these types of cases that you're not to go back to this place. So if you don't have anywhere else to go to, what happens? You have to be careful in these situations, Mr. Garrett. So let's do this. How old are you, sir? I'm going to give you a lawyer today. I want you to talk to the lawyer so we can figure something out. I don't want to put you out on the street, but I got to protect every person here. You understand? So I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're using anything, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. You understand? You're not to be in possession of weapons as well. And you're not to have any threatening or harassing contact with mom. If I find that you do, likewise. You got out of jail because we gave you a free bond. What happens if we put it at 5 to 10,000? If you don't have anyone to bond you out, you'll be stuck like Chuck in there until this thing's over. And it takes a long time just to get a 911 tape. You understand? So I'm going to have you sign a reset. Let me have you take a seat in the jury box. I'm going to find your lawyer and then we'll go to it. Come on.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Ms. Wally. So you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement. They're offering you 6 days in jail with credit for the 2 days that you've done. Are you sure you want to do this?
Yes, sir.
I guess the prior evading is what
Sir, we talked about everything, wanted to
just,
do this shot.
you need to understand that this has lifelong consequences. You know, you're entering into this agreement where this DWI will go on your record. It's going to be there for the rest of your life. It's even there after you die. The reason this is important is because if you get pulled over in the future, an officer will look at your record. They're going to see that you have a prior DWI. If they roll up to your window and they smell alcohol, they smell dope, it's probably not going to go well for you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And from now on, what we're doing today, the proverbial slap on the wrist, from now on, it's a minimum of 30 days in jail. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm trying to tell you is that if you want to get lit, just don't get into a car. Because it's a huge risk you're taking. You're giving up a lot of rights by entering into this agreement. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law. You give up the right to appeal. So once you accept this, it's done forever. This is what you want to do. How do you plead to the offense, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
I'm going to find you guilty. I will send you to the agreement. I'm going to suspend your license for 90 days. Do not drive until you get a license. The other thing is this, Mr. Wally, is that DWI is big business. There's a $3,000 surcharge that tacks onto this because you pled guilty to this. I'm going to waive it for you today. But the DWI second is a $6,000 surcharge. So if you're not smart enough to consider how to get home on a night of drinking, get ready. It's minimum 30 days and a huge surcharge. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck.
Your Honor, could you run the LR suspension, or the suspension, concurrent with the LR suspension he already has? He had a suspension from October to April. We have the dates. 6 months, Your Honor.
I don't know, man. He has a prior baiting that
That was the same transaction. They dismissed it, I believe, like the day after. It was.
it's out of the same. Okay, all right. I will. Okay. All right, you got to get them the dates.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank
Good
you.
luck, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You got it, man.
Do you want to move out this? Or do you-
When did we enter the order for the Moab?
We were in court last Thursday. It was initial appearance last Thursday, I believe, or
So
Wednesday.
my question to you is this, is that we have an order for protection that does not allow him to go back to the house and that continues to remain in effect,
So
doesn't it?
it's our 61 days.
Mr. Lopez, you need to understand this because this is very important. This is something that needs to be researched because you are entering into this agreement where you could be possibly let out within the next couple of days. However, there is an order for protection that has been entered. You're not to go back to this location within that period of time. Because if you do, you could be facing an additional violation of protective order. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
So, life is way too short to live in fear. And it's not fair. It's not fair that anybody should have to live in fear. You know, you have significant criminal history. And everything here that you've had here is because of no self-control. What's it going to take to get you to realize that you just can't pop off like that? Is it going to take a 15, 20-year sentence to get you to realize this the hard way? Consider this when you're out there. If I say this, what's going to happen? If I do this, what's going to happen? Because you could very well be a 15 to life case the next time you pick something up. It's not hard. If you get upset, walk away. But please, don't let them live in fear. Life's too short to end up in a 6x9 box for the next 20 years. You understand? It's not fair. Especially someone who's raised you, fed you, clothed you, loved you for 20-something years. It's not fair. Consider that. You're charged with terroristic threat of a family or household member. You've worked out an agreement where they're offering you 50 days in jail with credit for the 9 days that you've done. I'd like there to be an there is an affirmative finding of family violence in this case. You need to understand that this is very, very important because on another case like this, there's an affirmative finding of family violence in this case, meaning you can never own a gun or ammunition. The other thing you need to realize is that if you pick up another one of these like this, you could be very well facing a third-degree felony. And because of the pen trips, you pick up another third degree, you could be looking at potentially a 5 to life case, maybe 15 to life. So that's what I'm saying. Be careful. Do you understand? They're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law. You give up the right to appeal. So once you accept this agreement today, there's no turning back. It will go on your record. It's going to be there forever. Like I said, there's an affirmative finding of family violence. So you can never own a gun or ammunition as a result of this plea today. Also, the next one, you could be very well facing many, many years in prison. You understand?
I do.
Do you still want to do this? How do you plead to the offense of terroristic threat of a family or household member? I'm going to find you guilty. I'm going to sentence you to the 50 days to be correct for the 9. Please, just let them be. All right? All right. Good luck, Mr. Lopez. Thank you. You too. Just a moment. Of course, hold on. Yes, it was. I signed it.
Absolutely was. And was it a motion for the bullet? Not a signed bullet itself.
I thought it was true.
Your Honor. On Lopez, I just want to bring your attention, I'm looking at deeds. I only see the state's motion for the MOA. I don't see it.
I specifically did a MOP in this case last time. I don't know why it's not signed.
I thought it was addressed.
And I don't see it signed in deeds.
Signed Friday?
Because the motion was on the 26th.
I did it the last time we were here in court.
I do remember.
What the hell, I need a fly swatter. You see that?
Yeah, I
You got a fly swatter?
I don't know.
So I'd like to enter it in then,
Not supposed to it.
you know? So I'm going to undo the plea.
Okay.
I'm going to enter in the MOA, and then we'll do the plea again.
Yes, sir.
Because I want to make sure that there's no issues with this thing.
Yes, sir.
All right, coming up, Mr. Lopez.
You get it.
So I didn't sign the plea.
There's no entries, nothing.
Okay, so hold on, let me do the MOA first. So I'm entering in what's called the Magistrate's Order of Emergency Protection that identifies Ms. Solis as a protected individual. You cannot commit family violence or an assault against this person. Commit an act in furtherance of an offense under section 42.072 of the Texas Penal Code, which is the stalking statute. You cannot threaten, harass, use another person to communicate a threat or harassing behavior. You cannot be in possession of a weapon or go within 200 feet of the Bower Creek residence. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
If you violate this, the state can and probably will file a violation of protective order. This includes you cannot text them, you cannot message them, you cannot use social media to reach out to them, you cannot use, Snapchat, you cannot use someone else to try to get in contact with them. No contact whatsoever. Do you understand?
I do.
This order is good for 61 days from today. So if you go over there, it's going to be an issue. You understand?
I do.
Okay. So I want to sign first now the MOA.
Okay.
And then after that, we'll now do the plea again.
It's your turn, Joe.
Mr. Lopez, I want to protect every person in my county, and I'm going to do it at all costs. Do you understand?
I do.
All right, so let's do this plea again. You're now charged again with the offensive terroristic threat of a family or household member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. They've offered you 50 days in jail, credit for the 9 days that you've done. You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers if you're not a citizen. There are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. There is an affirmative finding of family violence. How do you plead on this case? Guilty or guilty?
Guilty.
I'm going to find you guilty. Now we will send you on the case. All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Lopez. Make me proud, man. That's all I'm asking you to do. All right.
Conditions. We remove the age restriction on the
So just about.
No, it's a little bit more.
I'm willing to give you a little bit of time for you to try to fix your license. But your case is nearly 800 days old. It would be unreasonable for me to let you just sit here 3 months, 6 months. So we need to put a time limit on this by which day you need to have this done by.
In my search already already, I just need to start payment plan, shooting land, and that's it.
Okay, but when is this going to happen? If you even do that, will that lift the ineligibility of the license anyways? Do you know?
Yes.
You've reached out to DTS?
Yeah, so.
Okay, I don't want to know, but we need to put a date certain when the last day for this case ends, where you either get done what you need to get done, or you end up taking something on this case. But I'm not going to just hold this open indefinitely, even considering that it's 800 days old nearly. So, Alex, is there an offer on this case?
The two PTI offers, Your Honor, and both of them are contingent upon the driver's license being valid.
Okay, so you reached out to DPS.
Yes, sir.
They told you what you need to do to get it there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to give you 3 weeks. You get no more time after this time. Do you understand? At 3 weeks, it's D-Day. If it's not done, then we need to move on. I'm going to either set your case for trial, or you've got to accept the plea bargain agreement. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So, Marco, this is the last reset that I'm doing. I'm not doing any more. You need to do what you need to do today, because it takes forever for stuff to reflect in DPS's system. That's why I'm giving you the 3 weeks, because you need to take care of it today. Because if you wait till the last minute, it's not going to reflect in DPS's system. It takes 2 weeks for them to just upload stuff to get it changed in the system. Understand? Okay.
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate it.
Good, how much time I got?
3 weeks and then clear trial. The next setting. Are you sure that you want to do this? You know, the thing is this, Mr. Garza, you're going to pay for it one way or the other.
That's what I, wonder how I know I'm gonna have to pay for it. It could be this sound bad, but
Problem is that
the trial's
this,
gonna worse.
when it goes on your record of what you're doing today, it will hose you in many facets of life. Your insurance is going to go up. It could affect potential employment. So DPS is going to hit you. It just, whereas with this route, if you're able to do the PTI route, you know, you can get some stuff waived, but at the end, if you complete it successfully, the case gets dismissed. Once you plead to this case, there's no turning around. And you got a fly swatter. You got a fly
And
swatter.
the thing, the fly is huge.
Judge, you were a defense attorney at one point in time. You know this is probably gonna be the best deal, to be honest with you.
I can't give you legal advice.
No,
That's why we gave you a lawyer.
And Judge, the issue with the PTI has been the financial aspect of it.
Here.
Yeah.
It's right
Sorry.
We've talked about the PTI, and he just says he can't afford it. And so that was kind of my recommendation.
You're gonna get hit.
The PTI, if you can afford it.
Yeah, one way or another, it's,
How much can you waive, Blaze? Guys, on a PTI, DWI, how much can you waive as far as fees and stuff?
My understanding, the only thing that can waive is the DAO fee, Judge.
On a PTI, I think you have to get the percentage confirmation. I mean, my guess would be through division chief.
And I think they can work with defendants.
Your Honor, another issue is that his license is not eligible, so he'd have to also pay the fines associated with correcting that before.
Well, you can do the no driving affidavit
It's currently, yes.
Oh, okay.
of the ALR, but you can probably do the no driving affidavit and stuff.
We'd also have to reach out to the chief of that.
Yeah, and I don't know, kind of I think that they can work with him on it, so if.
Can I ask for a
reach
reset?
out to, Ashley and see, well, do they pay for alcohol monitoring device, Judge? I don't think they'll do that.
That, I don't think so.
Alright.
So the one fee I know that you'll probably have to pay is the interlock fee, which is the breath test device fee. That's usually around $70 a month. Can you swing that? Are you working?
Yeah, I'm working, but on top of everything else. And you pay child support right now, Judge.
I mean, if I could pay for it, I would. I just can't. Do you want time to think about it, or Look, why don't you guys step aside? Just make sure this is what you want to do. If you want to do it today, I'm happy to do it. If not, I can give you more time where you can, talk with the division chief to see what you guys can do to reduce the fees. It's up to you. But I don't want you to make a decision in front of everybody here. Just take your time. Just
And
know.
about that, Judge.
Because once you do this, there's no turning around. That's it.
Thank you, Judge.
Please, just take 5 minutes. Of course.
One time, Chief.
Hey, what's up?
Judge, I'm sending you for John Paul's deal this morning on
Yeah.
Dasaki, DASSAKE.
মজা হয়েছে
অসাধারণ হয়েছে। এই এ মেয়ে কি করে?
ওই তুই ওরে দেখ চমকাই উঠছিস কেলা ওর নাম লাইলি আর আজকে সব ওই রান্না করছে
কি?
হ্যাঁ আম্মা জান আমার পোলা কথা কইছিলাম না
ইস এরকম জঘন্য রান্না আমি জিন্দেগি দেখাই নাই।
আপনি কেন টানতেছেন? আমারে দেন, আমারে দেন।
থাক আম্মা জান থাক আমি তো পারতাছি
সমস্যা না, আপনার বাসার সামনে না, আমি আগে দিতেছি, চলেন।
তুমি কে মা আমি তো চিন্তা পারতেছি না কোনখানে বাসা
আমার সামনে মহল্লা বাসা। আমার নাম লাইলি।
ও লাইলি তুমি কি আমার চেনো?
জি না খালাম্মা, আসলে আপনি তো আমার মায়ের বয়সী, বুঝছেন না? তা আমার মা যদি এরকম বাজারের ব্যাগ টানতো আমি তো দিতাম না, আমি লয়ে নিতাম।
ও আচ্ছা
তো খালাম্মা আপনার কোনো পোলা মায়া নাই?
আছে তো, আমার একমাত্র পোলা আছে।
তো চ্যাংড়া পোলা থাকতে আপনার বাজারে যেতে হয় গেলা?
তুমি যে কি কও, তুমি কিন্তু খুব ভালো কথা কইছো। আমি আসলে বাসায় দিকে তো মাঝে মাঝে নিজে হাট বাজার করি। তা আম্মা জান তুমি কেমনে জানলা আমার পোলা চ্যাংড়া?
ও আপনার বয়স দেখে আন্দাজ করছি আর কি, আপনার পোলা চ্যাংড়াই হবো। এইটা আপনার বাচ্চা?
হ্যাঁ এই যে আইসা পড়ছে, আমার বাসায় আইসা পড়ছে। চাও তুমি এত কষ্ট করছো, একটু চা পানি খিলাও।
না না আজকে না, খালাম্মা আরেকদিন আসুন।
আচ্ছা
আপনি নিশ্চয়ই কষ্ট পাইছেন তাই না? কষ্ট পাইলে মানে আপনি কইছেন আমারে, আমি যদি না যাই তাহলে তো খারাপ দেখে। তো আজকেই যাই তাহলে,
চলো আচ্ছা বাজান।
বাহ
কি আম্মা জান?
আপনার বাসা খালাম্মা খুব সুন্দর, আপনার বাসা।
ও আমি তো ভাবতেছিলাম তুমি আমার ছেলের কথা কইতাছো। মাশাআল্লাহ আমার ছেলে সুন্দর আছে না?
আছে আর কি, ওই আছে।
আচ্ছা আম্মা জান তুমি কি খাইবা? তোমার কি পছন্দ?
আপনার পোলাই কি পছন্দ করে?
ও তো যা পায় তাই খায়।
যা পায় তাই খায়, তার অবশ্য দেখে বোঝা যায়।
কিছু কইতাছো?
না খালাম্মা কিছু কইতেছি না, মানে কইতে চাইছি যে সবার তো একটা প্রিয় খাদ্য থাকে, তারটা কি?
হ্যাঁ আছে তো, গরুর গোস্ত। গরুর গোস্ত পাইলে তো মাথায় ঠিক থাকে না, খুবই পছন্দের।
আচ্ছা কইতেছেন, আমারও গরুর গোস্ত খুব পছন্দ।
ঠিক আছে আম্মা জান তুমি বসো, গরুর গোস্তে রান্না করবো, দুপুরে সাথে মিলে একসাথে খামু।
আরে আমি এখানে একা একা বসে কি করবো খালাম্মা, আমি যাই আপনারে সাহায্য করি একটু।
মাশাআল্লাহ কি লক্ষ্মী মাইয়া, আসো আসো।
মা মাংস যা হয়েছে না
মজা হয়েছে?
অসাধারণ হয়েছে। এই এ মেয়ে কি করে?
ওই তুই ওরে দেখ চমকাই উঠছিস কেলা? ওর নাম লাইলি আর আজকে সব ওই রান্না করছে।
কি?
হ্যাঁ আম্মা জান, আমার পোলা কথা কইছিলাম না?
ইস, এরম জঘন্য রান্না আমি জিন্দেগি দেখাই নাই।
কি কইতাছস? একটু কি কইলি অসাধারণ, এখন কইতাছস ফালতু। মাথা গেছে নাকি?
খালাম্মা আমার মনে হয় গরমে মাথা গিলু গলা গেছে গা।
এই মেয়ে, তোমার সাহস তো কম না, তুমি এনে কেন আসছো?
খালাম্মা আপনার সামনে আমরা ধমকাইতেছে।
ওই তুই ওরে দাম গাছ কেলা? হ্যাঁ ও আইছে তো কি হয়েছে? তোর কোনো সমস্যা আছে? ও জানোস না আজকে আমার এই রান্না বান্না কত সাহায্য করছে?
জানতে চাই না, ওরা এখনই বাড়ি থেকে বাইরে যেতে বলো।
কি কথা চস? এত কিছু কষ্ট করে রান্না করে মেয়েটা না খাইয়ে চলে যাবো?
ও যদি এখান থেকে না যায় আমি বাইরে যাবো এখন।
খালাম্মা তোর মাথা নষ্ট হয়ে গেছে গা। আমি বরং আজকে যাই, আপনার থাকেন খান, আমি আরেকদিন এসে খামুনি।
আমার জান তুই এটা কি করলি? মেয়েটারে খালি মুখে বিতে দিলি?
তুমি ওরে চিনো না আম্মা, খুব ডেঞ্জারাস।
আমার চিন্তার দরকার নেই, তুই বেশি করে খা।
তোর খামুই না।
Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer, or would you like to apply for a court-appointed lawyer? Okay. I need you to fill an application for me. Deputy Miranda's going to give you an application. I'm going to have you sign a receipt with Victoria. I will have you take a signature box while I find your lawyer. Do not leave until you sign our bond conditions, though. Okay? All right. Please.
There's a Spanish agreement, so we have to include it.
Okay. Hey, so can you file another one more?
Page 2, I'm sorry, 22, Navarro.
Okay.
Navarro, Ramona. Right next to me.
Are you a lawyer, ma'am?
I am.
Are you representing him?
Yes, I am.
Because I have here and Mr. Garcia, that's right.
Yes, I'm not primary attorney. I sent the letter representation last night.
Oh, okay.
They're both in meetings, they filed,
Do you work together or you don't work with this person? So we,
I've worked with Eduardo, yes. I help them out too.
Got it. Okay. You are Saul Navarro. Mr. Navarro, you were charged with driving while intoxicated. You are facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On February 2nd, 2025, at approximately 1:50 a.m., the officer was dispatched to a call about a vehicle parked occupying both lanes of travel. Upon arrival, the officer observed the vehicle parked in the roadway, occupying both lanes of travel. The officer observed the defendant sleeping in the driver's seat of the vehicle, and the officer opened the door to wake the defendant up and observed bloodshot, red glossy eyes, and standard field sobriety tests were then conducted. The defendant could not complete the HGN for walk and turn 4 out of 8, 1 leg stand 2 out of 4. The DIC was read, and the defendant refused to provide a specimen. A blood warrant was signed and executed.
Please see the prior to the guys, please.
Yeah, the parties are on it. And I'll run the flag.
Please. Mr. Navarro, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. And I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or illegal drugs, I will revoke your bond and I'm going to put you in jail. I don't know what your immigration status is, but if you're not in this country with permission and you go to jail and immigration finds you, it's very possible that they put an immigration detainer on you. And if that happens, you will be stuck like Chuck in custody until this case is over with and then shipped off to immigration.
Get no license on file.
If you do not have a Texas driver license, you are not allowed to drive. I am making that a condition of your bond. You will be signing a promise with me today, Mr. Navarro. This is an affidavit that you're not going to drive. I do not care what is going on in your life. You cannot justify getting into a car for any reason. I don't care if there's a burning building and you have to save 50 babies. No driving. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now, good job on having a lawyer. Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance, but it is your responsibility to stay in touch with them. If they tell me they cannot get a hold of you because you're ducking and dodging and not responding to phone calls, text messages, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. I want my streets safe, and I will do everything to protect us. If that means putting you in custody, I will do it in a heartbeat. For now, I will have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive. I will get you to Victoria where we will have you sign a reset. We will then get with Felicia for your bond conditions, and then after that, you're free to go. Thank you. That's it. That's it.
Josh, did you go? I think I went to law school. Did you go to school in Michigan? Okay.
Hey.
I am here this morning on Mr. Booker. And as it turns out, Judge, I believe we're going to need to request a trial date.
Okay.
I don't know where you're.
Work out in the other county.
Judge, the state has offered to defer despite the fact that my client is BCI eligible in Harris County. I have been unable to.
You do not have an open one in another county, though?
He's already on BCI. I provided the state all of the paperwork and they will not.
That's.